Hello to you all. The tyrant is down. Long live Britannia and God save this kingdom. Hello to everybody in the live chat. We're going to come to you guys to get your reaction. We're going to start today's live shows with some happy breaking news. But there's a happy news which comes with a but. A big but, actually. Because Mark Drakeford, the First Minister of Wales and the leader of the Welsh Labour Party, has resigned with immediate effect. But I'm going to explain the but situation in a second. It's not Mark's but, by the way. It's a different but. Anyway, in this video, we're going to go through his legacy. Oh, yeah, he has a big legacy. Terrible, terrible legacy. But all the bad things he's done to people in Wales. And then I'm going to come to you guys in the live chat and let me know, especially if you're from Wales, what other stories you have about this man and the policies that he has implemented. All right, some of them are absolutely ridiculous, but first things first, let's start by talking about the Mr. Potato Head. Yes, Mr. Potato Head has decided to finally give up power and resign following a lot of scandals, following a lot of protests against his policies and everything else happened over the last few years. He was in power for about, 5 years? And of course, all we know is the fact that he completely ignored the will of the people in Wales. He completely ignored the fact that the powers in Westminster are there for everybody in the kingdom, not just for his administration. Similar to the SNP administration in Scotland, he was doing a similar thing. But the funny thing is, at times, he was basically copying the same policies from the SNP. At times he was saying, but I came up with it proudly. Socialist nutter. All right, couple of things that he's gone through, which I'm going to explain. The list of my top 4 idiotic things he's done. But as reported on 2ctv.com, Mark Drakeford announces his resignation, ending his 5-year tenure. Obviously, he came in power in 2018. And although stepping down as a party leader, he's still going to be First Minister until his successor is appointed, which is a convention, obviously a political convention in this country. But he will be out soon, even as First Minister. Elected as an Assembly member in Cardiff West in 2011, his leadership period has been significant for Welsh Labour, with a huge number of ups and downs. Now, let's go through the ups and downs. Well, it's mostly downs. The only up is his pocket. All the money, all the gravy train money, and all the freebies. Do you remember back in 2020 and 2021 when this man and his government decided to ban books in Wales? But ban the purchase of books, not just books, but also toys for children. Do you know why? Because the China virus was so smart that if you go to a shop, your local shop in Wales, if you are going to certain aisles to buy vegetables, the China virus will leave you alone. It's a very smart virus. But if you happen to go to the aisle next door and try to pick up a book or a toy for your child, the China virus will get you. So he decided to ban books and toys for children to save people in Wales. He's a god. And that didn't really go well, did it? The most idiotic policy. I mean, the British government in general had some stupid policies, including 10 p.m. curfew. Why not 9 p.m.? Why not 11? But they had the rule of 6. 6. Why not 5? Why not 10? Why not 7? But he had his own version. It was a very interesting period at the time because basically all these leaders tried to out-crazy the other crazy leaders, saying, he did this. Well, I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to ban toys for children. So that was absolutely hilarious. But even though it was dark times, now we can look back and laugh. But learn. Learn, because we have to always be on standby. Because these leaders will always come back. This is where the big but comes in when it comes to the next leader, because he's going to be replaced by another Labour socialist. So don't be happy, thinking, he's going to go and we're going to find someone who's basically more pro-Britain and pro-conservatism. No, that's not going to happen anytime soon. That's one. Next. Oh, yes. Our favorite. 20 miles per hour limit. Because if you go 21, if you drive, and if you go as fast as 21 miles per hour, everybody's lives will be at risk. If you do 20, everyone will be saved. Absolutely. All the roads. It's going to be fine. Even though then they messed up the whole policy because you had certain roads, you had a junction where one side of the road was 20, the other side was 30. Everybody was confused, and all these protests and everything else did nothing because the man is completely crazy. The reason we say tyrants, because tyrants, even if they're democratically elected, they could still be tyrant. Adolf was democratically elected. These people don't listen to reason. These people completely ignore facts, research, and the will of the people. This is what this man has done. So, that's also the second one. Then I'm going to get your... wait for me to obviously finish my list and let me know what else you have. Oh, yes. The rainbow unicorn, Mark Drakeford, eventually decided to allow men to fill women's quotas in elections. So, the political left went crazy a few years ago. They thought, okay, well, we need more women. People said, why? We don't know, but we just need more women. So Tony Blair started the Blair Babes. And what was it? David Cameron started the Cameron Cuties. And they got all these women to become politicians just because of the... Anyway. But they thought, well, it's going to be good for representation. Fine. We did that. But then Wales started having a different problem. The gender lobby grew and grew and grew so bigly, in the words of Donald Trump, that these people couldn't stop it anymore. They ran out of women because they cancelled half the women. Mothers were cancelled, women were cancelled. You can't even say woman anymore. It's woman X, whatever it's called. And then now they said, well, we have all these quotas to fill. We need to find women. So it's okay. You can go to the meeting, self-identify as a woman, tick. So basically, within the next few years, the Welsh Parliament or the Assembly is going to be filled with men. It's going to go back to the 1950s. It's going to be great. Men are doing women better than women, basically. So that also was one of the most idiotic things that we heard. But then, the good news is ups and downs. This is the upside of his leadership. He finally, eventually, reluctantly accepted that women can, in fact, have periods. That was a breakthrough moment. That was the scientific discovery that took humanity until 2023 to finally realize that women are in fact different to men. This happened after the fact that they elected all the men instead of women. It's been a fascinating journey. His legacy will be remembered forever as Mr. Potato Head who ruined Wales. But now, we are going to be thinking about the fact that this is the best Christmas present to people in Wales for now. All right, let's go to the live chat, see what else you guys have for us. Oh, so fun. The great Danton in Wales, the land of my fathers are all Celtic blood. And then we have Drakeford is a useless leader. Let's just say was. Yep. He spends money on things that we don't want, and he wastes money on projects he knows and wants to fail. He's a hypocrite and a dangerous nationalist. Good riddance. These people don't even know people like Drakeford. People like basically the Welsh Labour Party, Plaid Cymru, the SNP, they claim to be nationalists for Scotland, for Wales. They're not nationalists. They say, well, we're nationalists, but we want to join the European Union. What sort of nationalism is that? I don't understand what sort of school these guys were sent to, but they don't know the basic definitions of these words. Greg says, you just have to look at the record of the damage the women have done to the three nations. to their nations. So, oh, there we go. Red Imp says, North Korea awaits Kim II, Drakeford. Paul says, Drakeford is a vile and odious little man. Good riddance. He won't be missed. Trouble is, there is plenty of other scumbags like him to fill his space. That is the big but. As I said, this good news, this Christmas present for people in Wales does come with a big but. And that huge but is the fact that they're going to have to replace him with another Labour politician, socialist Labour politician. Let's not forget that the problem with Drakeford is not just his policies, it's also his personality, it's also his family. His son is in jail. You know why. Love how nobody in the media is going to be talking about that. I've been looking at, over the last few minutes, since this news came out, BBC and Sky are going to be talking about his legacy. Like, oh yeah, Mark Drakeford, significant leader for Wales. Wow. Are they going to mention his son? Are they going to mention all the corruptions? No? Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Made a mess of Wales. Now the mug is running. Yep, that's what usually happens to mugs and Mr. Potato Heads. Right, let's go back. Yeah, Dave says, probably be replaced with another dictator. This is the whole problem, because these people are dictator wannabes, and that's why we have to call them tyrants. Because of the constitution, they're not dictators, but they are tyrants. And if you give them more power, they will easily become dictators, constitutional dictators. These people are the ones who are promoting policies such as the universal basic income, so that people will belong to the state. You don't have to work. You can make money for free. You won't own anything, but you'll be happy. Everything is going to be fine. Thank you so much for the first super chat of the day. Elder Roku says, May the 13th, the December, be known as Welsh independence. The true Welsh independence from Mark Drakeford's dynasty. Christoph Junction, thank you so much for super chat, saying Drakeford damaged Wales more than the National Socialist Germany did. Oh wow. Well, actually, in Wales, yes, absolutely. Yeah, the National Socialists in Germany didn't damage Wales as much as Drakeford did. I mean, they would have if you allowed them, but the problem is we allowed Drakeford to do it, but we didn't allow Adolf to do it. You know, we had our moral boundaries. We said, well, Adolf, too bad, but you know. Martin McDonald says, great news, I'm Welsh and can't stand him. Wales should vote reform from now on. Actually, to be fair, we've been talking about third parties, alternative parties, and we've been talking about the issue with the UK general election wise, where even Reform UK right now is still not ready, but given more time to come up, right? But when it comes to certain smaller places like Wales, just like how UKIP was doing well in certain areas, actually, considering that Plaid Cymru is also a bunch of clowns. The Welsh Labour Party are these guys. Then you got the Tories. I'm not really sure what they stand for anymore these days, the Welsh Tory Party. So technically speaking, if you are in Wales and you believe in freedom, you believe in conservatism, you believe in the kingdom and the constitution, probably this could be a great opportunity for a party like Reform UK to do well. Never say never. And if I were Richard Tice, I would focus so much on these sort of places. Just like how I've been saying that Reform UK and Richard Tice should focus on local councils first, get all these local areas, territories, but also Wales is ready. It's up for grab. Not necessarily Scotland, there's a whole different issue there, but Wales, absolutely. Let's not forget, the Welsh are not necessarily Europhiles and pro-EU globalists, so they are very different to the socialists up north. Not everybody, obviously, in Scotland is a socialist, for the record. But there we go. We have to get ready for a new WEF member. Again, considering he's going to be replaced by another Welsh Labour politician, yeah, of course, they're all going to be the same. I remember the days when the Labour Party used to be slightly more nationalist rather than globalist, but those days are gone, obviously. The Labour Party doesn't really represent the working man, or in the case of Mark Drakeford's party, working man identifying as a woman. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. Rob Davis says, thank goodness, parrot-faced commie gone. Sadly, I'm sure that he will be replaced like for like, this being Wales. But it's not necessarily Wales's fault. It's the fact that that's just how the political convention works. Until there's an actual election, he has to be replaced by another member of the Welsh Labour Party because they are in power. But the people in Wales have an opportunity to then, for the next election, get ready to kick out the Labour Party and do not bring in Plaid Cymru. That's a terrible idea as well. We'll see. Big Paulie P says, are there any reform candidates in Wales? So for the general election, yes. So I'm assuming when it comes to the assembly elections, probably yes as well. If they have enough for parliamentary, then sure. The general election doesn't really matter. The general elections that we're going to have, that Reform UK will have candidates for all the seats, it makes no difference in terms of who's going to be in power in Wales or who's going to be in power in Scotland. You have to focus on the actual Welsh elections for the assembly and go from there. Because at best, what you're going to have is a number of MPs represented by Reform, but they're going to be in Westminster. It doesn't really change anything when it comes to Welsh politics. Another super chat from Decline Management. Thank you so much, saying Katie Hopkins has the balls that number 10. I think it's number 10. Number 10 needs. But and unless she's identifying as a man these days, yeah. Thank you so much for that super chat. Craig says Britain for the British. I couldn't say British. Right. Well, we have the best summary of Mark Drakeford and his tenure is coming from Football Crazy, saying he was a very bad leader, very polite, very British response, too soft for me, but yes, he was a very, very bad leader. Look at that face, oh dear. Right, so we are going to have so much fun with this now, because the Labour Party in Wales are going to go through a leadership challenge, a leadership election. Oh, it's going to be great. So 2024, as predicted, is going to be an absolutely insane year. We're going to have Donald Trump, the election in 2024 in America. We're going to have our own general election in the kingdom. And we're going to have the Welsh Labour Party picking another crazy person to replace this idiot. And what else do we have? Oh, we have the Islamists in Gaza getting kicked out. That's fun as well. We're going to have some update for you guys from Qatar. Some good news coming from Qatar in regards to the Islamists as well. We're all winning everywhere at this point. But things could go wrong. Oh, yeah, and Javier Milei is already in charge of Argentina. He's already shut down most of the government department, doing so well. And Wilders in the Netherlands, obviously they're trying their best to stop him from becoming a leader, because they have to do negotiations to make him prime minister. That's just a whole different system, obviously. But as Douglas Todd says in the live chat, the Devolved administration, their parliaments need to be abolished. They've done very little for their countries. So I know for those of you who are familiar with this channel, this is going to be repetitive, but it is important to mention, especially those who just joined us. Devolved administrations and devolution in general was a lie, because it uses the word devolution, which is a good word. Oh, devolving powers, decentralizing powers from Westminster. Oh, that sounds good. But they didn't actually decentralize powers to give it to local people or local authorities. They created secondary centralized powers in Wales and Scotland, Northern Ireland and everywhere else. Obviously, situations in Northern Ireland is different, but Wales and Scotland especially. They're not decentralized. They've created secondary and artificial parliaments, which basically doesn't really represent local people. You need to decentralize powers so much that you, on your own road, in your neighborhood, would know who your local leader is. It's so small that we will have a number of local, tiny authorities to actually represent each interest of each neighborhood. Now, of course, you're going to have a main centralized power just to focus on the biggest stuff, like the policing and like the defense and things like that. But otherwise, the rest of it is just a waste of taxpayer money, and there's no efficiency, nothing gets done. Nessa, thank you so much for your super chat, saying Mark Drakeford gone. Yay, party down public. I should have done some sort of opinion poll in the live chats, because we have so many nicknames. I started the first nickname, Mr. Potato Head. We have Mark Drakeford. What was the other one we had earlier? Something faced. I forgot. It was something faced. Yeah, give me more nicknames. It's gonna be a fun live stream. Just a heads up, by the way. Today is going to be quite busy for 2CTV. We're going to be talking about the absolute chaos in Washington over Zelensky getting rejected. It's completely chaotic right now. Joe Biden wanted to give him more money, and the Washington, D.C. politicians decided to say, no, we have to spend money in America. Then we're going to give you some updates from Qatar about the Islamist leaders there. We're going to talk about Denmark. Denmark have announced net zero Denmark announced net zero, but no, wait for it. Net zero immigration. Oh yeah, it's going to be very juicy, considering that Macron's government are struggling with their own politicians, because he wanted to deport more Islamists and basically foreign criminals, and mainstream French politicians decided to vote against it. Bunch of cowards. We're going to focus on that as well. Gaz Millwood says, Sputface. John says, all right, the nicknames are coming in. There we go. Mark Breakwind. Brilliant. Love it. Yep. and Paris says, Snakeford. Love that as well. What else say? Oh yeah. Chatboy25 says, Drakeford is a Marxist. His son won't be released before 2027. He was released on license but breached the terms of his release. Yeah. By the time Drakeford's son comes out of jail, that will be the same deadline as the BBC's TV license. But unfortunately, considering Keir Starmer is going to be Prime Minister now, potentially, I don't think the BBC is going anywhere. So I wish I could say the same about Mark Drakeford's son, but you know. David says Drake Snake. That's a good one as well. We have a lot of snake-related nicknames. I'm very offended on behalf of snakes, by the way. Billy says, thank you, Maya. Always on point. Well, I try. And I haven't even had my beer yet. Every day I talk about beer, people are going to think I'm an alcoholic. I'm not. I drink whiskey. Come on. Right. Michael says, Drakeford, traitor to Wales. Phil says, yep. That's a good one as well. Oh, there's a couple of them are getting much worse. Tusi, is there a Javier Milei UK version? Absolutely not. I mean, the closest we have is, technically speaking, Nigel Farage. Technically speaking. We don't really have anyone radical. Because the thing you have with Javier Milei is a combination of a nationalist and sort of like a Liz Trussite or Thatcherite, which we don't really get these days. You either get full-on nationalists who become at times so socially conservative and, well, protectionist, which is fair enough if the country wants that. And when you get free market Thatcherite types, usually you end up with the same package, get globalists and very kind of pro-EU, pro-single market. Javier Milei has the best of both worlds, which is kind of funny. He's basically a patriotic nationalist who's also a believer in small government and free markets. So it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Obviously, there's going to be some people on the left trying to use this against us, saying, Javier Milei is going to go for the Falklands. Ha, 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 you're supporting Milei. There's a whole separate issue. If he goes for the Falkland Islands, then we're going to go and stop him, saying, go away. But domestically for Argentina, he's great. Internationally, for us, it might not be good, but I don't care. You can separate two things. We just got a very breaking news expose, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for this? This is the most important breaking news. Conspiracy theory has been confirmed. According to Rain Mars, I am brown. Well done. How long did it take for you to... Although I have been told that I'm more like a bad cup of tea, a milky tea, but... I could be brown if you want me to be brown. Thank you so much for that breaking news. And Neil says, give Maya a thumbs up, family. Yes, the YouTube family. Come on, guys. But we, as I said, we are going to be focusing on a lot of other issues as well. Apart from, obviously, international news that we're going to talk about later. We're also going to be talking about last night, the vote in the House of Commons. Remember the whole Rwanda plan nonsense? I've got some news for you guys. How many Tory MPs do you think voted against the Rwanda plan last night? The bill, that flawed bill. You're going to have to wait until later when I reveal the information. You probably know already the answer. Anyway, thank you so much for joining the first live stream of the day. We're going to have a number of live updates and, of course, quick short videos as well for you guys. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.